Perfect. Taylor, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Thanks for coming in, Brendan. Appreciate you guys stopping in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Boeing, Delta. How long have you been working with Delta?
I've worked for Delta for over 12 years at least.
Really?
So
that is super awesome.
It's been a good place. I like it here a lot. Yeah. They treat us pretty good, and I get to go wherever I want.
Right.
So.
That is super awesome. So, you said 12 years. What's kept you at the company?
Just the benefits. They treat us employees really well, as far as just health insurance, and then the travel packages, and just competitive pay too. So
that's awesome. Has your family been able to travel with you a lot then?
Oh yeah.
Some fun vacations?
Yeah, they're spoiled.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because isn't it that usually like the kids, I'm sure it's maybe different because, you're pretty high up in the company. Usually like kids are able to just kind of fly for free wherever they want, right? Up until like a certain age or something.
I think it's like 25 or so, and then they get just my buddy passes.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Hope they get the flight with me.
That is so awesome.
So yeah, it's a good perk. We've had a lot of fun trips, and
that's awesome.
Good time.
So what got you into Delta then? 12 years.
I was just looking for a good career, and I always wanted to travel around too. So I thought, a good airline job would be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And so I applied for a lower level position, and then got that, and just kind of worked my way up.
That's cool. So you're 12 years, you're able to work your way up. So that's really cool. One of my buddies actually, he did an internship with you guys about a couple years ago, and then I guess he's working at one of the airports out in California. He's like some team manager. I don't know what he is honestly, but yeah, he says it's super cool how they do external hiring pretty low level, but then it's just it's all about working your way up. They don't do really external hires for executives, so it seems really cool.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
they like to help you feel like you're able to move around, and you're not going to get screwed over in a position.
Yeah, I love that. So. Before we get too deep into this, I know you were talking to some of your buddies before I came in. Is there anyone else we need to include before we start getting into a few questions I have?
As of right now, no. Maybe if we decide that we want to go with you guys, there's one or two other people that'll want to hear the presentation or whatever. So
perfect. So, you're from what I understand, then my secretary reached out to you. We got some information, and we've already been working together, for quite a few years. As companies, but I just wanted to know first of all, kind of what your guys' plans are, specifically with your department. With purchasing over the next 3 to 5 years. What are you guys trying to achieve here?
Yeah, we're kind of looking to phase out a few different airplanes. So a lot of them are getting older. Okay. So we've got about 50 right now in this area. And like I said, some of them just aren't quite up to our standards of what we're wanting.
Okay.
And so we're looking to get about 48 new planes.
Oh, really?
Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of the idea for the next little bit.
Okay. So what's going on with them then? Is it just mileage, repairs? Is it software? Is it hardware? What's going on exactly?
A couple of the things, I'd say our biggest issues right now with them, we've got a bunch of the Airbuses, and those are the ones that we're really trying to phase out.
Yeah.
They're just a lot slower.
Okay.
And so because of how slow they are, they kind of put us behind a little bit. And then the technology really isn't quite up to date.
Yeah.
And so competitive wise, these other airlines have a little bit better tech packages already in their airplanes. And so it's like, okay, that kind of sucks, because some of our pilots are looking at that like, hey, giving us a nudge, like, what are we doing?
Right.
So
yeah, absolutely. So you're looking at 48 planes. You've got some Airbuses, and I understand too. Again, we've been working with you guys for years now.
Yeah.
We were able to get you some of the Max series a couple of years ago. What are you guys' thoughts been so far on them? Any concerns? What do you like? What are your thoughts?
We love them. They've been a great plane. Honestly, we really enjoyed it, and they've done good for us. They're holding strong still. So
awesome. What have your customers been saying about them?
They like them. We've never really had many complaints, like comfort-wise. The only real complaints that we ever get from customers is the delays.
Okay.
So if they're in an Airbus, they're late for the whole flight is delayed, whether it's the one that's been coming in or the one that they're on.
Okay.
Whichever one it is that Airbus goes on, it kind of just has that domino effect and puts us behind.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So
It kind of creates like a bullwhip effect. Everyone's trying to play catch up, and it's just keeps getting
exactly.
further and further behind. Okay.
Yep.
So the delays, I mean, what's causing these delays exactly? Is it just the engine's performing, or like the plane's performing at max, capacity, but it's outdated, or is it just there's repairs that's needing to go on, so it's we're trying to play it safe? What's causing the delays exactly?
I think honestly, it's just the plane itself. So
Okay.
with the fact that the technology really is not up to date on them,
Yeah.
and the fact that they're just a slower plane,
Yeah.
the times just get messed up, and
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, and I get that. And then
people
customers
plan
are
for something, and then it's not what they expect.
okay. Okay. And have there been any major issues then regarding repairs or anything like that at all?
No, not entirely. I mean, all of our planes, your guys especially, have been maintained constantly, and so we really don't have too many issues on them.
Okay.
They perform well that way.
That's good. That's
So
good.
it makes it nice.
Perfect. So to make sure I'm kind of on the same page, and you're looking at 48 newer planes. You've got, I mean, I understand, yeah, you've got some Airbuses, you've got some Maxes that are still pretty new, but you're trying to phase out some of the other older, either 737s or the Airbuses.
Yeah.
But the issues you're kind of seeing then is just slower, causing issues with customers, as well as just technology isn't up to date, kind of software, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And how is that affecting, I mean, I don't know, your overall, I guess, customer turnover? I mean, have you been tracking that at all, seeing how customers are, maybe going other places because they know that maybe there's more consistency and flights not being delayed?
We've had a few complaints. Luckily, we've been a big company that's been around for a long time. That, to be honest, we haven't lost a whole ton of customers.
Okay.
We've gotten more and more complaints about it. And so right now, my worry is, well, frick, I don't want to lose these customers.
Yeah.
I don't want that part of our business to start having this effect on us too.
Yeah.
So I figured, I'm going to stop that leak before it even comes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So yeah, it's good that you're addressing it now instead of waiting until, it gets to the point where not only software is outdated, but hardware is outdated. Planes are being grounded because of, it's outdated. Things need to be repaired because, I mean, you understand airplane repairs are millions.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
So I definitely get that. So what, I guess with outdated technology, what concerns or problems have you seen with that?
Our biggest problem right now, honestly, is more with the employee side of things.
Okay.
Like our pilots, they're getting pretty frustrated with the fact that our planes, like we're a good company and they appreciate us, but the planes, they're getting frustrated with that because one, the timing of it all, they're getting blamed for a lot of the delays.
Yeah.
And then the technology just isn't there. They've got a plane that will perform much better over at Southwest or United with all the technology that they feel like would be more comfortable for them to do these flights and to just have a better overall experience as the pilot. So
yeah. So
we lost a few pilots because of that.
So there has been some turnover with employees. Have you seen any, I guess, struggles to attain new employees because of outdated, hardware, software, flights being slower?
A little bit less of that.
Okay.
And we still have some of these younger pilots that are getting brand new and they're excited to come fly and they know Delta. So
yeah, they want to be with a reputable company. I get that.
But yeah, definitely some of these older the older ones are willing to stick with us because that's all they've had. But kind of in that middle, they're kind of like, well, I could go be just as comfortable somewhere else. So
yeah, no, and I'd hate that. Yeah, you don't want to lose out on
definitely not.
Awesome
We've lost a couple of good ones.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, and then at that point, though, I mean, if you're losing a great pilot, I mean, you could potentially, I mean, if one person leaves, other people could follow them if they were someone that they, really trust and rely in. So that's terrible. So, I mean, have you kind of noticed that there's any direct problems with, I mean, having these, slower planes, older technology, has that directly affected, I guess, your scorecards or your KPIs with your overall business model, like how you're evaluating your employees, how you're evaluating your, business model's success?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we get some kind of frustrating comments on things and and especially our employee reviews.
Yeah.
It just kind of seems to feed up. Like we get, because the buses are so slow, the pilots get blamed for it, and the pilots are blaming the grounds crew because, well, they're not filling it up. It's used up so much gas now that we have to wait for them to fill it up completely.
Yeah.
So these things are gas guzzlers at this point. And so, yeah, it's definitely causing some frustrations, and then the overall excitement for the business and the reviews from a lot of different perspectives are really starting to decline.
Yeah. So what value then would your pilots, your stewardesses, your ground crew, what value would they find in having, planes that are just simply more fuel efficient?
The fuel efficiency, I think, would be helpful for the grounds crew especially, and then obviously our numbers. It would save us a lot that way. Yeah. And I think they all could find a little value. I think it would be a little more time saving for them. Mm-hmm. So that pressure is off of them to feel like I have to meet this certain time frame, or pick up the slack for somebody else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Have you determined as well kind of the value your customers would find in that, and the speed and efficiency of the planes? Because I definitely understand that too, in the sense of, you're flying, you've got maybe a layover, or maybe you just simply have an appointment you need to get to, and you're looking at your watch and you're like, oh my gosh, we were delayed for this long. We're not getting there as fast as we thought. I guess kind of what value would that bring for your customers then?
I know the customers would appreciate it a lot more. Yeah. They'd be a lot more comfortable feeling like we're going to be on time. We're going to not have any delays. And the staff's going to be a little more friendly because they're not frustrated from the last stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess, so, these two main concerns, and the slower planes, the technology is outdated. Were there any other concerns as well that we haven't discussed yet, or anything you wanted to bring up as well? Because I'd hate to keep digging on two things if there's other things that are itching in your mind.
The only other big things that I would say, I kind of touched on it a little bit, was just the gas.
Yeah.
It's costing a lot more in those gas on those older planes.
Yeah.
But then also, when we start talking about numbers, my concern right now is the whole upfront payments. I'd like to work out some kind of a payment plan with you.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to be able to discuss that with you.
Cool.
And again, honestly, we definitely can be able to address these things. We want to make sure that you guys are being taken care of. Again, I'm sure you've already seen, with the Maxes compared to the Airbuses, the old 737s, have you guys taken time to kind of compare fuel efficiencies with the Maxes compared to the other ones?
Yeah, definitely. We've looked through a little bit, and we like what we see there. So
that's awesome.
Definitely part of the reason why we wanted to talk to you guys, that and our old relationship with you. So
Absolutely. Well, what I'd love to do then, we can definitely be able to address these concerns. We definitely can be able to fulfill, orders that you guys are looking to get. The 48 planes is definitely something we can be able to address.
Okay.
Payments is something we can be able to go at as well. Obviously, you understand the Maxes. We haven't had it. They're still new planes. Everyone's wanting them right now, just simply because of the fuel efficiency. They're, ultimately, I'm sure you've seen, it's cool with the wingtips, they're a little bit more aerodynamic. So it's helping ultimately just, maximizing lift, less fuel you're burning taking off. Because how many gallons is burned just taking off? It's ridiculous.
It gets crazy.
But then, one thing too that we've really been focusing on, everyone, all these companies so much are just talking about how sustainable their companies are, how green their companies are. And one thing that would be, that we love talking about, that would then be able to give your, company better image as well too. You already have a great image, but talking then about how not only planes are faster, but then, more efficient, less, carbon emissions, less, nitrogen oxide emissions, different things like that. So it's not only faster, it's cleaner too.
Okay.
What I would love to do then, is if we need to invite other people in right now, I'd love to be able to kind of go into some specifics about what you're looking to get and how we can be able to meet those needs if you'd like to.
Okay, yeah, no, they're good.
Okay.
They can stay outside.
Perfect. So you mentioned then you're looking at 48 planes. Our secretary had sent over the different series that we have. What specific planes were you guys looking to get?
I think we're actually looking at getting the same number on each.
Okay.
So what would that be? I think so about 12 of each.
Okay.
Yep.
All the way from the 149 seater to the 220.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Have you had a chance to ride the Max 9s?
I haven't yet.
Oh man, yeah, you'll have to try that soon. Especially when we get you set up, we'll definitely make sure we get you and your family on a flight soon, because Those are very luxurious. I love them.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm stoked. It'll be fun.
So you talked then a little bit about payment.
Mhm.
You're looking for 12 of each plane. We can definitely be able to get that for you coming up shortly.
Awesome.
What was it specifically you wanted to discuss regarding payment then?
Just we wouldn't be able to have the full upfront payments right away.
Okay.
So I just want to kind of see what kind of things that you guys can offer, not only to help us to make this a little more affordable, but just right there off at the beginning to kind of help us avoid that very first one.
Yeah, and before I answer that, I guess I have a question that's kind of prefacing that. When do you guys need these planes by?
So we're actually wondering if we can do half of them after they got 1 year or just after the 1 year mark. But the first half I would hopefully need by about 9 months.
9 months. Okay. So
If not
24 in a year basically from like today, and then the other 24 in 9 months, or maybe a little bit sooner if possible. That's definitely something we can be able to offer you guys. I mean, I'm sure you already understand, industry standard, we're looking roughly around 9 months.
Okay.
And I'm sure you already understand too. I mean, we love working with you guys. I mean, you're an awesome company.
Same.
We've got lots of orders coming in, and we want to make sure that it's something feasible, and splitting it up is something that can work really well for us, because we would hate to try to get one bulk order done at one point, and then if there's something that comes up with maybe a supplier's not able to get us a part, we'd hate to kind of follow suit with other kind of other companies where they're behind in production. So we would hate that. So I'm not sure if my secretary had sent over specific pricing points for the planes. They should have. I'm not sure if you had a chance to go over them.
Just I must have your main prices on it. That's about it.
So the 149 seater is looking at $96 million, and then it's broken down each one. 189 seater is the 117.1. The 200 is the 120.2 million price point, and then the Max 9 is looking at 124.1.
Okay.
And again, we'd be more than happy to be able to get the 24 broken up into 1 year and then the other in 9 months if you'd like to. And then
that'd be huge.
And then so you said in terms of payments, then so remind me then what you had started to say with that you're looking to maybe get that paid a little bit later on. Is that what you're starting to say?
Yeah, we can pay you about half of that upfront payment.
Okay.
But we're also looking to see if we can get an overall discount of about 7% from you.
Okay, so 7%
and then
discount, and then you're looking about half up front, half when the job's completed, essentially.
Yeah, so we would be able to pay you half of it right up front, and then the other half at about 6 months.
Okay.
We can pay that one off. And then so the whole upfront cost will be done within the 6 months.
Gotcha.
But we're just at that point right now where we have to figure out our numbers here at the year end.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we definitely can be able to work with you on these payments. I mean, it's not super common that we split up payments. Usually, especially for a bulk order like this, we need, kind of a bit more substantial collateral just because, we're working with billions of dollars of planes at this
totally
point.
Understandable.
And, there's a high demand. I mean, our planes, there's never been issues. They've never crashed or anything like that. So what we could maybe look at doing for you, because especially like I mentioned, industry standard, we're looking 9 months for a normal delivery period. And that's something we were looking to do too, is maybe deliver some a little bit later on. What I could be able to do for you, if you would like, is we're totally fine with this payment period. We can do half now, we can do half in 6 months, because that would still even be before we, project foreseeably start delivering that first plane. But what we could be able to do for you here, if we delivered you, I guess, let me ask you first, is there a reason why you want to split up how many planes you're getting at what point, at these points or these time frames?
We just know like you were mentioning, we know the industry standard on when they are.
Yeah.
And so we thought, what, we're good to get started on these and get a little feedback from them, kind of make known like, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
It's just kind of hey, let's get these quicker, as fast as you guys possibly can.
Yeah.
So that we're not being too big of a rush on you guys, but still trying to work with you.
Well, and I appreciate that. The concern I have, just considering your business model, the longer you guys are waiting, the more there's concerns with, pilots leaving, employees being upset, customers being frustrated, leaving negative reviews, which, deters either existing customers or future customers coming in. So we want to get you as many planes as possible. One thing we could do, and again, it's not super standard, to kind of split up payments. And again, we work with you guys a lot. One thing we could be able to do for you guys, because again, we don't want you guys to be losing any more money, any more time, any more concerns and headaches. What we could be able to do is because again, you're looking at a total of 48 planes.
Yes.
What we could be able to do is if we could deliver 33 of them within the next 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
And then we could be able to get the other 15 within the next year. So you're getting a lot more bulk of the planes right up front immediately.
Awesome.
And we can discuss later specifically as we're drafting it up which planes are coming when. We'd probably try to break it up as even as possible.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
And then what we could be able to do, especially since, normally industry standard is, the 6 to 9 months, we could be able to get you a 3% discount for that waiting period.
Okay.
A 3% discount ultimately would be looking at, if it's, let me crunch some numbers here for you just to get you kind of a realistic number. So we're looking at 15 planes. And one of each plane is like a 3% discount from one of each of the 4 planes is about 13,700,000.
Okay.
So pretty substantial there. And so let me just crunch some numbers. Sorry, I should have brought my tablet with me.
All good.
I left it on the plane, believe it or not.
I've had a pretty chill day, so I'm in no rush.
So ultimately, with a 3% discount, on those 15 planes that we could be able to deliver in a year, it would be looking at about a 68,600,000 discount. And we could be able to get that drafted up and get that going for you today.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I like being able to get majority of them as soon as possible. I think that'll be awesome. My concern with going down to the 3% discount.
Yeah.
What do your planes include? Do they all come standard with the full tech packages?
Yep, they do.
So everything's
the
there.
televisions, headsets, all those different things.
Everything for the cockpit. There's no certain specific model on each one. Like this one has a little more tech packages.
All of them are pretty similar. I guess there are a couple differences with the MAX 9s. MAX 9, again, I know you mentioned you haven't flown in them yet. They do have a little bit upgraded fabric. It's just kind of nicer leather, essentially a little bit more plush, a little more cushiony, I guess, which is kind of a big deal. But one thing we could be able to do, if you're looking, if you're looking at different upgrades, there are definitely possibilities to get different planes upgrades. Everything's customizable. We're building them by order,
Yeah, for sure.
But is there something specific you're looking for?
Well, I'm just trying to find a way, because if we can, I know 3% is kind of a significant drop.
Yeah.
And so if it's an issue with giving big discounts, I'd like to see if there's a way, if we can't get at least a 5% discount rate with you guys, to be able to get some kind of a package in there in those planes to kind of make up that difference.
And I definitely understand that. I appreciate that. One thing that I could be able to do for you, it's actually something where, it's something we just are starting to give as an option, and I'd be totally happy to work with you on this. When you fly, I'm sure you've seen too, there's videos, and it's just frustrating of just some people who are just straight up, ridiculous and trying to fit their bags in the overhead bin, right? They don't understand how Tetris works. They're trying to put it in one way, it doesn't work, or they're trying to put just something giant in there. One thing we could be able to do that we're starting to offer with both our MAX 200s and our MAX 9s, the 200 and 220 seaters, we're starting to give companies the option to pay for upgraded larger overhead storage bins. It doesn't affect the customer in any way. It doesn't make the ceiling lower or anything like that. It actually goes as higher up into the top of the plane. Essentially, there's just extra space up there. What we could be able to do, because normally, especially with that, it can be a little bit pricier because we have to change out different hinges. We have different suppliers for different overhead bins. I'd be totally fine for the MAX 200s and MAX 9s giving you guys larger overhead space if that's something you guys are interested in, though. Because at that point, you're looking at the value of the customer, being able to carry on larger, and you could even change it that's saying, hey, you can have a bigger carry-on if you wanted to or something like that.
For sure. I would appreciate that. Well, look, I like that. If there's a way that we can do this deal with the month plan with as many planes as you've got there, doing the 33, then the 6 to 9, doing the larger bins, and then if we can do a 4% instead of the 3 on that discount, I think we'd be good to go.
I think that'd be fine. Yeah,
awesome.
We can do that with you guys.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Brendan, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for giving us a call. We're excited to come and sit down with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's Delta treating you?
Honestly, it's great.
Yeah.
We're expanding. People are, booking flights with Delta more than ever. So
that's good.
It's good. We're getting new airports in different places. We're, expanding throughout the world. So
nice.
It's a good time to be with Delta.
Yeah. So how'd you get into the purchasing job? This is a awesome gig for you.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even apply for a position like this. I was working out in operations. I've been with Delta for about 8.5 years last month. And, I started out just simply enough, I did an internship. I started out, kind of worked in a few different departments, human resources, analytics, things like that.
Okay.
So I was in operations for a long time, and which I really miss, but I guess they thought I would do a good job here at purchasing. So CFO called me up one day, and it was funny. He's like, "Hey, we'd like you to be in purchasing." I was like, "Yeah, someday that'd be pretty interesting. I'd love to cross train maybe." And he was just like, "Yeah, maybe in a week we can get you over there." And then the next day he's just like, "Yeah, we're going to have you start actually in 2 days." So it was one of those things that I didn't apply. It was just like, "Hey, we need you there." So, and I've been here for a couple of years now, and I've really enjoyed it. So
that's awesome. Sounds like you're a solid worker.
Yeah.
CFO's calling you, sending you over.
Yeah, it's either good news or bad news, and I wasn't sure. I still don't know if it was good or bad news being put over here.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
So why did you like operations so much?
Honestly, I guess it's just I just like looking at processes, really. Okay. I like kind of seeing hey, is there something we can do to become more efficient? Because you get how big. Yeah, you're fine. You get how big Delta is. It's the same with Boeing. There's so many different processes. There's all this different, it's just determining how can we save, $1 million here or $5 million there. And you don't really realize where savings can be, realized until you start breaking everything down. So it's been fun. It was fun to really kind of see savings there. And so I think my opinion, I think the CFO threw me over here just because, I don't know, he wanted someone who was kind of more analytical thinking to be in purchasing instead of just being like, hey, we need this, let's buy it. And just kind of feel like they have a big wallet and they can spend whatever they want. So
definitely, if you understand the processes, then I think that makes purchasing a lot more efficient. You know exactly what you need and things like that. So I think that's a good move. That'll be fun for you.
Yeah,
glad you're enjoying your job.
Yeah, it's been good. How long have you been with Boeing then?
I've been with Boeing for just over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
They've been a great place.
Years.
I like it. And I like doing the sales for them. So
yeah,
that and it kind of helps because then I make some connections to get some free flights every once in a while.
Right. No, I love that.
So it's great.
That's awesome.
You guys take advantage of all your free flights.
Oh yeah.
Your family.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've got a little boy, and me and my wife, we fly all the time. Well, I guess she flies all the time. She goes and visits family. My parents, I put them up on a vacation. They're out in Europe right now. So
it's been pretty
nice. Yeah. Yep. Trying to take care of them.
There you go. They deserve it, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, cool. So tell me what's going on here. You gave us a call. So what made you want to call us and what's going on?
Yeah, honestly, we've been using some of the Max series for a while.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's no secret, we like it. We like the Maxes.
Awesome.
Not trying to, tell you, I'm not saying we're desperate or anything, but we definitely have been enjoying the Maxes quite a bit. And we're looking to look at maybe potentially, overhaul some of the current inventory we have. Because, we bought 25 of the Maxes, what was it? I think it was 2 years ago we bought 13 of them, and then a few months later we bought a few more, so we're at 25.
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of everything. We got all the way from the 149 to the 220 seater. So ultimately we're just looking to get a few more planes. We're looking to get about 40 more, about 10 of each.
Okay.
So kind of build up our inventory of the Maxes a little bit more. Customers are enjoying them. There's been even on different forms, customers are asking if they can request to get that flight. So,
Oh, really?
so it's not just that. I mean, it's just, ultimately it's time to upgrade a little bit, I guess,
for sure.
from based against our current inventory.
What kind of planes are you guys currently flying? I know you said you got a few of our Maxes, but
yeah, we got the Maxes. We have some Airbuses, as well as just some of the older 737s. I mean, obviously the Maxes, there's nothing wrong with them right now. I mean, the occasional little repair here and there, maybe something external, but the big thing right now is just, I guess, kind of overhauling the Airbuses, and then as well as just kind of upgrading some of the current older 737s we have. And honestly, it's not necessarily that they're breaking down or falling apart, and it's not like they're like crashing 6 minutes after takeoff or anything like that. I mean, simply enough, it just comes down to, comes down to the operations side of things. I mean, we're trying to, be more streamlined, more efficient. We're realizing different amounts of money is being lost in different areas of our business model. And so we're just trying to, become more efficient, more streamlined, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So you're saying that you're kind of losing money in different areas from the business. Are those are those losses being affected because of some of these planes that you have?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're determining, some of the main factors of that. I mean, there's a few other things that go into it that we don't need to go over today, but I mean, and I guess I misspoke a little bit. Some of the older planes of the 737s, the Airbuses themselves, they aren't having any, problems, with breaking down or repairs. Some of the older 737s, there's some repairs that's needed. It's not the major problem, honestly. I mean, those costs are adding up, and I'm waiting for a report that I should be getting in a few hours about, costs that we've been realizing over the last year for these planes. So it's probably adding up. But honestly, it really comes down to, the planes aren't as efficient. They're slower. I mean, if it's taking a long time to get from point A to point B, and we're losing time at that point, customers are having to wait for, there's delays at that point. If a flight gets canceled, we're having to, give them more flyer miles and vouchers, putting them up in hotels. It's kind of adding up. It didn't seem like it was a problem, but now we're realizing it's adding up.
Yeah, for sure. So are you just noticing that? I know your 737s, you're saying they're getting a little outdated and having a little more mechanical issues.
Yeah.
You said the Maxes are performing pretty well for you.
Absolutely.
But are the Airbuses, or is it 737s and the Airbuses that are moving slower and kind of causing those delays and those extra problems?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the Airbuses, they were great when they came out. It's just, they're getting out of date at this point. They're slower than we need them to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, we work with Airbus. That's not a secret. It's not like we're, solely going with one company all the time, but we always try to see what's best for our company.
Definitely.
And the problem I guess we're kind of seeing is just Airbus is having a hard time fulfilling orders at a quick enough pace.
Makes sense.
They're kind of backdated or they're backlogged. Sorry, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You're
backlogged,
good. I get you.
back ordered. They're back there. They're just taking a long time, and it's just honestly, if we have slow planes or if we're not getting the planes we need, at that point we're having to cancel flights, reschedule them, make all kinds of crazy last minute shuffles. There's going to be delays in airports, and just leads to pretty big losses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what kind of things have you been hearing? Obviously you being the analytical guy that you are, what issues are you seeing besides the fact that you're having to push back and cancel these flights? Are you seeing issues with your employees or with the customers? I know you mentioned you're having to give them a lot of vouchers.
Yeah. I guess, yes to both.
Yeah.
Kind of embarrassing, but, and then again, something we didn't realize was a problem until we started looking further into it. Employees, there's always turnover. No matter where you go, there's turnover. But we look at kind of the average lifespan of an employee here at Delta, and within the last 10 to 12 months, which we're seeing is a correlation between within the last 10 to 12 months, planes have been having more and more repairs, there's been issues. So we're not sure if it's the causation or just simply a correlation, but we are seeing that from the time that our planes started breaking down and having issues and weren't as efficient, employees started leaving at a faster rate.
Oh, no.
Both in the airports as well as, flight attendants, pilots. And I mean, I haven't had any specific reports come in yet. I mean, it makes sense if I was in the airport and I'm dealing with just ticked off customers and who are, it's 2019. People who have this ridiculous mentality that they think that they should always be right, in the sense of it doesn't matter what, their view of customer service is. They think that they always need to be right. And so they're just straight up just pissed, yelling at my people. And they just feel like, hey, I don't need to take this abuse, and they leave. So it's frustrating. Yeah. I mean, it's not like we can yell at our customers, because at that point they're just leaving. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like the other day, someone came up, I got some feedback that they were, got yelled at and they were leaving because the customer kept saying, hey, this is just piss poor customer service, from what they said. And I mean, it was kind of funny, but the employee still left. And it's sad the customer left, but the employee, it was something funny they said. They said, well, you can't expect to go into like Chick-fil-A and ask for a hamburger and then call it poor customer service when they don't have it. And so,
I like that kid.
So the employee said that they said that to the customer, and it didn't turn out well. They got a floor supervisor, but honestly, I thought it was hilarious, because I mean, that's the mentality. It's just, you can't ask for one thing and expect that if we don't have that's bad customer service.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just, avoid having these issues where customers are feeling that they should be entitled to things that are outside of their control, or even our control at that point. So we're trying to just take control of things again. We're trying to control, how quick our planes are going from point A to point B. Trying to get planes, ordered and delivered faster. I mean, honestly, Airbus, it's just been frustrating. And then just trying to eliminate these breakdown issues. It's costing us, quite a bit of money every single month in repairs. So.
Yeah. So you would say that your biggest issues that you guys have right now are the slower orders, and then the fact that the repairs are becoming a lot more frequent.
And just planes themselves just not being as efficient.
Okay.
Just taking that's just slower, delays, angry customers. It's just a domino effect at that point.
It's just kind of become in every aspect of the business at this point.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, it feels like. I'm sure
it's got to be frustrating.
I'm sure there's dozens of other departments I don't even know about, let alone work with. I'm sure they're running smoothly, but it feels like everything's crashing over here. So
yeah.
Well,
I don't want to keep poking at the whole idea of the employees, but I kind of want to talk a little bit more about them. And as far as the rest of your business being the processes, how is that affecting you guys? Like, do you have a lot of training time when you hire an employee?
Yeah. We have a 2-week training period when an employee is first hired. It all depends on what department they're hired in. And I mean, again, being in operations, I had some play in that. I mean, here we don't work with that too much, but what we usually do across the company is we have a 2-week training period, just learning some of the most basic skill sets, helping out with customer service concerns, understanding our business model, the history of it. And then they get an additional 2-week training a few weeks later when they're put into their specific role, whether they're working at the airport, if they're on an airline, because we're not going to train, someone who's working in the airport, to learn the different responsibilities of, an air flight stewardess or steward, something like that. So, but there's a base training and then just advanced training at that point.
So are they all being paid? Are both of those 2-week trainings all paid trainings?
Yeah.
So essentially you're having to constantly keep retraining people. Yeah. And just paying for all of that extra time when you're having, instead of taking over that turnover rate.
Yeah. And honestly, and I mean, part of that too, I'll say, granted, it comes down to our screening process, because I mean, we're trying to hire the best. Yeah. We don't want to just hire someone because they have a pulse. But I think, again, I mean, just like I said, that turnover has been, higher lately. And again, because of that correlation. But then at that point too, I mean, if we're losing some pretty valuable players at that point, we're trying to quickly replace them. And so at that point, our decision process of who we're picking could be, skewed a little bit, or it might not be as, honed in as it should be. And at that point, then we're not picking the right people, which could, I guess it could lead to higher turnover.
Kind of leads a little more issues, people kind of worse attitudes about it and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then kind of going back onto some of the customers, are you guys having to do other things? You mentioned that you're doing a lot of vouchers to make up for that.
Yeah.
How much is that costing you, kind of
honestly,
percentage-wise, your margins?
per customer, it's not a ton, but I mean, and when it adds up over the amount of time, because I mean, you can give them miles, you can give them, just money towards flights, and honestly, we never go out to the max that we can give. We always start out pretty low at a few $100, and people just grab at that. I mean, heck, we can go up to thousands if we wanted to.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't ever really come to that. I mean, people will start. They worry about the loss of an opportunity, getting some for free. So I mean, if no one said anything, it would go up higher. But I mean, on average, each month we're probably giving out thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in vouchers at that point.
But those are more so things that you guys have already been planning for. And
it's
kind of set aside.
So it's planned for.
Okay, so that's not as big of a deal.
It's more than we're wanting to normally spend, but it's allotted in our budgeting system.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. So would you say with the customers, your biggest issue, are you guys seeing more customers leaving the company, like leaving Delta Airlines and going over to a different one because of these issues, or?
Not only that, we're seeing them leave, but not only that, it's just damage control of trying to control the negative press that we get. Because it's not like there's major headline stories about like, hey, Delta had a suspended flight or something stupid like that. It's just, there's lots of these angry customers that just build these threads online, and our marketing staff is trying to reply as quickly as possible because you understand you put out fires as quickly as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
But then at that point, the concern is if there's people who are trying to find a flight, they're going to see all these negative reviews, and it's going to deter them. So we don't have enough a accurate number yet as to loss of potential customers, but we have an understanding of who we're losing now, but we're still trying to determine, based upon these negative reviews, who are we losing that we could have had.
Okay.
So it gets pretty deep.
So what you're saying is not only is it kind of hurting the reputation or like trying to keep up on stabilizing the reputation, but you're having to go through, and every department now is having to kind of put out these fires, it feels like.
Essentially lots of departments.
The grounds crew, the stewardesses, and then the HR as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, and then I know you were talking a lot about the efficiency and then the speed of things. And obviously that relates. When your planes are slow, it's going to cause a customer to get pretty upset, and they're going to go put it on another bad review. That is another fire for multiple people to put out. So I definitely see the frustrations. So listen, as far as the value of all this, if we were able to come in and get a negotiation finalized with you, how valuable would that be for you guys if we're able to get you these planes that you guys have been looking at, those Maxes that you guys have already been impressed with? How much value would that be if they were to come around and fix those turnover costs, if that could affect those, and then the reputation, even boosting that more than having to just fight the fires and keep it stable, things like that.
Honestly, even if we got some new Max series, even if it could just address a couple of these things, there would be, plenty of savings realized. I mean, obviously we understand there's a lot of upfront costs for these planes, sure. But obviously when we take into account the other costs that we're having to pay, future costs that we're losing out on, all these different things, it puts us ahead. And so, I mean, it would make our company appear more appealing to a lot more customers. It would keep us viewed as a reputable company instead of kind of a wishy-washy, kind of roller coaster ride of, hey, they're doing great, crap, they suck. Hey, they're doing great, crap, they suck. So, I mean, it would add a lot to both the department as well as just the employees themselves and the customers, obviously.
Definitely. Listen, I think that if we could get kind of a negotiation started here, I think that not only could we keep you guys as the top airline in your industry, I think we can definitely help you guys with making your customers, your employees, you a lot more comfortable, a lot more happy, and get that CFO even more on your side.
Right. Yeah.
So
that would be awesome, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be totally happy to start kind of looking at specifics at this point.
Perfect. Is there anybody else that we need to bring in? Anybody else that needs to talk about the numbers with us?
We were supposed to have Greg Hansen come in. He's one of our other purchasing specialists, but he just texted me and said that he got called into another meeting. So he just said, go on without him.
Sounds good. We can knock it out.
Perfect.
Okay. So you're looking for about 10 of each of our planes, correct?
Yep. Total 40. Yep.
Okay. So what kind of things are you guys looking for specifically? How can we help make sure that this is exactly what you want?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, I mean, we've already talked about the specifics. We understand what's going to be coming with the planes.
Okay.
In terms of when we need them, how we need them, stuff like that. Like I mentioned, it's not like I'm trying to throw other people under the bus, but Airbus, they're taking a little bit longer to get us our planes, and honestly, it's not like they're taking a ridiculous amount of time. It's still kind of somewhat within industry standard, but we need some planes pretty quick.
Okay.
Roughly kind of like the 3 to 6 month period.
3 to 6 months.
Simply enough, just because we're losing money here, we're hemorrhaging a little bit, and we've kind of realized if we let this go on more than 6 months before we get new planes, at that point we're going to be looking at a substantial amount of money being lost at that point that we can't really afford. So
definitely.
So 3 to 6 months. 3 would be awesome. 6 months is understandable.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely get you within the 3 to 6 month range. Mm-hmm. Tell me about timeframes as far as like how many you need as soon as possible. Are you looking to get all 40 of them within that range, or are you guys trying to?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's I guess there's two things. There's one other thing I needed to bring up too.
Okay.
But first, in terms of that question, I mean, as many as possible within 3 to 6 months. And I understand that may not be 100% realistic. I mean, I get you guys are working with other companies. It's not like we're tied at the hip here. I get that, there's other places you're working with. That's totally fine. But the other thing too, we got informed about about 3 weeks ago. I guess it's a month ago we usually have our planes, customized and everything at our own facility, kind of painted, stuff like that, customized to us.
Yeah, for sure.
One of our machines right now that does some of this customization is actually down right now.
Okay.
And I understand that you guys have some different warehouses that can do this customization.
Yeah, definitely.
We were looking to see if we could work out something that you could be able to help us out with some of that customization. Again, we usually do it in-house, but we'd like to have the planes customized at your factory before they're delivered to us. At that point, they can, be
they're
flown
just ready
in
to go.
and we're ready to go. We don't have to be like, great, they're here. Let's paint them, let's customize them, let's get them outfitted, and then let's go. We would like them just kind of brought in. We're ready to go. I know it's not something you guys always do.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's something we're hoping we could do. I mean, again, we've worked with you guys a while.
Definitely. That's something we can work out there and definitely get that talked about.
Yeah.
As far as the time frames of them all, I can get you. So generally we deliver in about 9 months. I know you guys are wanting some of these in a rush. Let's get you guys some of these issues fixed now.
Yeah.
And stop some of that hemorrhaging you were talking about.
Yeah.
What if I got you about 10 of them at 3 months? Mm-hmm. And then from there, I can get you another 20 at 6. Would you be okay if we do about 9 months for the other 10?
How would those be broken out? Would it be just kind of evenly split among the 4 different models?
I'll break them up as evenly as possible. We'll make sure that you've got our top of the line ones, mm-hmm. And then that way you'll have some of the luxury ones, because I know you guys do a lot of international. But then we'll even give you some more of the Max 7s that are just for some of the short range ones.
Yeah.
We'd be definitely willing to see what you guys need at what time. And then split those up accordingly.
I think that'd be fine. Getting a small number. Yeah, I don't think we could do more than, because what was he said about the final 10 in about 9 months?
Yeah,
I think we could do that. We couldn't have more than 10 though at the 9 month mark or beyond. 10 is kind of the max we could allow, just because again we're trying to overhaul some of them, kind of get the other planes. We've already got plenty of these other planes sold to other companies that they're using for who knows what.
No, for sure.
And yeah, if we could split them up as evenly as possible, because obviously we love the Max 9s. They're really luxurious, but we use a lot of the smaller 149 seaters for, kind of like you said, short range flights.
Yeah. Arizona to Utah stuff. I know that's a big one.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, honestly, I think that'd be fine for something like that.
Okay. All right. And then, we can definitely get those in as soon as possible. we'll kind of do a few rush orders. With this large of an order, I think we can definitely make that work.
Okay.
And then as far as the price range goes, I don't have my papers here.
No, you're good. Your secretary sent them over. We got some of them pulled up here. Yeah, there's something I wanted to bring up about that because I mean the prices are obviously fair. It's nothing new to us. I mean it's the same. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean it's awesome.
Stuff that's about the industry standard.
Yeah,
right
price
now,
points maintained like the same as when we bought the Maxes a couple years ago, which is nice because obviously it's the same thing that's just being built brand new. I guess the one concern I'd have, I mean, again, the price point itself is fine. But I do appreciate having you guys help us out with this customization is awesome. 2 days ago though, when I was talking to the CFO about, our meeting and everything, and we were talking about a couple other meetings I've got later on today, as well as the one we had yesterday. We were just talking about different, kind of deals we're looking at. And he was telling me, the 40 planes is, sorry, I just got a text from the CFO. Fine. Trying to ignore him. With the 40 planes, though, he's really wanting to get them all within that 6-month time frame. And me personally, though, I know him. I think he's going to be okay, though, if we get them a little bit later. But I think it would give, us a little bit more leverage and kind of get him more bought into having them a little bit later if we could get him a little bit better price point.
Okay.
And I've already told him, hey, getting them customized, that's going to be a lot of savings that we're already going to be able to enjoy at that point.
Yeah.
But if we could get anywhere from a 3 to 4% discount on those final 10 planes that we're going to be getting after that 6 months.
Okay.
I think that would be something that would get him more bought in and something we could definitely be able to move forward on.
Okay. Well, listen, what I'm willing to do, looking at the whole idea of it all, what if I was able to bring in another 5 airplanes? So say we did about 13 of them, or about 12 of them at 3 months. And then we do another 23 at the 6-month mark. That way we're going to be only having to send you 5 at the 9 months. That way we'll get you as many as possible. Get that rushed in as quick as we can. And then what we can also do is we can get all of your first 3-month order planes. We'll have those customized as much as you need.
Okay.
I can even do the other 23. So we can do your first up to the 6-month mark. We can have them all customized for you.
Awesome.
And then as far as the discount goes for that last 5, I'd be able to do about a 2% discount on the totals for those 5.
I'm fine if we did a 2% discount. I think that'd be okay. And honestly, I'd be fine drafting up a deal right now. The last thing that I'd kind of want, just to kind of again, I want to make sure this deal is as perfect for you as it is for us. Obviously,
for sure.
If you could honestly for the Max 9s that we're getting, if you could throw on, because I saw you guys were starting to offer some window tinting. If you guys could throw on some window tints for those the 10 different Max 9s we're getting, I think we'd be good to go at that point.
Yeah, we can do that in a heartbeat. We'll have those going on for us.
Perfect.
So anything else that we can do for you guys? You guys pretty set?
I think we're good. Yeah, we can. We'll get all the numbers kind of sent over, and we can get them all signed later today.
Perfect. All right, Brendan. Thanks.
Thank you.